In a world that moves at lightning speed and praises endless selflessness, we're often told that kindness means always saying yes. Be agreeable. Be polite. Put others first. But what if, in trying to be good, we lose ourselves? Behind the smiles and nods, many of us are silently overwhelmed, sacrificing our needs, afraid to set boundaries, and slowly burning out. This isn't kindness. It's self-abandonment. But there is another path, a wiser, braver way. Rooted in Buddhist philosophy, it's a path that teaches us to balance compassion for others with deep respect for ourselves. A path where kindness doesn't mean losing your voice, and where saying no can be the most loving thing of all. At the heart of Buddhism is the understanding that suffering arises from attachment, aversion, and ignorance. This suffering isn't just about dramatic, life-altering events. It's also found in the subtle patterns of our daily lives. When we're too nice, when we say yes out of fear of disappointing others, or when we silence our own needs to avoid conflict, we are creating suffering for ourselves and, ironically, for those around us. It's important to recognize that being kind and being too nice are not the same. Kindness, as taught in Buddhism, comes from a place of genuine compassion and wisdom. It is active, clear, and strong. True kindness does not require us to diminish ourselves or become a doormat for others. In contrast, being too nice is often rooted in fear. Fear of rejection, fear of not being liked, or fear of causing discomfort. This fear-based niceness is not truly compassionate because it ignores our own humanity and needs. Buddhist teachings invite us to cultivate what is called metta, or loving kindness, not just toward others, but toward ourselves. This means treating ourselves with the same care and respect we offer to others. It means recognizing our own needs and boundaries as valid and worthy of honor. When we neglect our own needs, we are not practicing true compassion. We are simply enabling patterns that lead to exhaustion and resentment. Consider the principle of the middle way, one of the core teachings of Buddhism. The middle way is about finding balance, avoiding extremes. Applied to our relationships, this means neither being overly rigid nor overly accommodating. It means knowing when to give and when to hold back. When we act from the middle way, our kindness is informed by wisdom. We are able to say no without guilt, to set limits without anger, and to show up for others without losing ourselves. Setting boundaries is not an act of selfishness. It is an act of self-respect. In Buddhism, respect for oneself and others is inseparable. The Buddha taught that we are all interconnected, like the threads of a net. When one thread is pulled too tight or too loose, the whole net is affected. If we constantly give in to the demands of others, neglecting our own needs, we disrupt the balance of our relationships. We may appear agreeable on the surface, but underneath, resentment and exhaustion begin to build. Eventually, this can lead to conflict, withdrawal, or even the breakdown of relationships. A Buddhist approach to boundaries begins with mindfulness, being present with our thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations. When someone asks us for something, before automatically agreeing, we can pause and check in with ourselves. How do we feel? Are we able to say yes joyfully, or do we feel resistance, anxiety, or annoyance? If negative feelings are present, it is a sign that a boundary may be needed. Mindfulness helps us see our habitual patterns. Perhaps we say yes because we fear disapproval, or because we want to avoid the discomfort of someone else's disappointment. These patterns are not flaws. They are simply conditioned responses, shaped by our upbringing and experiences. By bringing awareness to them, we can begin to choose differently. Another key Buddhist practice is right speech, one aspect of the Noble Eightfold Path. Right speech means communicating honestly, kindly, and with intention. When we need to set a boundary, we can do so with clarity and compassion. Rather than making excuses or becoming defensive, we can state our needs simply and directly. I'm not able to take that on right now, or that doesn't work for me. We don't need to justify or apologize for our boundaries. By speaking our truth with kindness and respect, we invite others to do the same. Buddhism also teaches us to let go of attachment to outcomes. Often we avoid setting boundaries because we are attached to being liked or accepted. We want everyone to be happy with us, all the time. But this is impossible. No matter how hard we try, we cannot control others' reactions. The practice is to do what is right, with a clear and compassionate heart, and then let go of the results. Some people may be disappointed or even upset when we begin to set boundaries. This is natural. Over time, however, those who value us will come to respect our limits, and our relationships will become more authentic and balanced. Respect, in the Buddhist sense, is not deference or blind obedience. It is the recognition of the inherent dignity and worth of every being, including ourselves. When we respect ourselves, we honor our own needs, feelings, and limits. We trust our own wisdom. When we respect others, we honor their autonomy and their capacity to take care of themselves. We do not assume responsibility for their happiness or well-being. This is not a lack of compassion, but a deeper form of compassion, one that empowers rather than enables. Practicing this approach can be challenging, especially if we have spent years or even decades being too nice. Guilt may arise, fear may arise. We may worry that others will think we are selfish, rude, or uncaring. But these are just thoughts and feelings. They are not facts. With patience and persistence, we can retrain our minds and hearts. It can be helpful to reflect on the Buddhist concept of equanimity, the ability to remain balanced and at peace amidst the ups and downs of life. Equanimity allows us to say no without anger or guilt, and to say yes without resentment. It is the calm center from which true compassion flows. When we cultivate equanimity, we are less likely to be swayed by the expectations or demands of others. We are able to act from our own inner wisdom rather than from fear or obligation. In practical terms, setting boundaries might look like saying no to an extra project at work, even if you worry about disappointing your boss. It might mean declining a social invitation when you need time to rest, or asking a friend not to call late at night. It might mean letting go of relationships that consistently drain or disrespect you. Each of these actions requires courage and self-awareness, but each is an act of respect both for yourself and for others. As we develop this skill, we may find that our relationships actually improve. When we are honest about our limits, we are less likely to become resentful or passive-aggressive. Others know where they stand with us, and we invite them to be honest about their own needs as well. The result is greater trust, authenticity, and mutual respect. Of course, there will be times when setting boundaries is met with resistance or even anger. Some people may be used to us always saying yes, always accommodating their needs. Change can be uncomfortable both for ourselves and for those around us. But with time and consistency, most people will adjust. And if they do not, if they are unable or unwilling to respect our boundaries, this is valuable information. It tells us something important about the nature of the relationship. Buddhist practice also encourages us to cultivate compassion for ourselves as we learn this new way of being. Old patterns die hard, and we will make mistakes. We may say yes when we mean no, or set a boundary in a way that feels clumsy or abrupt. This is all part of the process. The important thing is to keep coming back to mindfulness, to notice what is happening inside us, and to respond with kindness and patience. Ultimately, the Buddhist approach to respect and boundaries is about living with integrity. It is about aligning our actions with our deepest values and treating ourselves and others with kindness, honesty, and wisdom. It is about finding the courage to honor our own needs, even when it is uncomfortable or unfamiliar. When we stop being too nice and start practicing true compassion for ourselves and for others, we free ourselves from the prison of people-pleasing. We discover that it is possible to be kind and strong, generous and discerning. We learn that respect is not something we have to earn by sacrificing ourselves, but something we can embody, moment by moment, in the choices we make. So, the next time you feel the urge to say yes when you really want to say no, pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself what is true for you in this moment. Trust that your needs matter. Trust that kindness and boundaries can coexist. And remember, By respecting yourself, you are honoring the interconnectedness of all beings, a gift not just for yourself, but for the world.